What's up, guys that enjoy clinical engineering? My name is Lucio Flávio. I'm a certified clinical engineer, and today I will talk to you about 11 topics that you must know about infection control and prevention. The first topic will be hospital. Second, the difference between infection and hospital infection, non-critical areas, semi-critical areas, and critical areas, and then non-critical articles, semi-critical articles, and critical articles. And finally, the definition of cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. So let's go to the first topic, that is hospital. Hospital is the greatest health equipment you will ever see. It has a lot of different areas. It has thousands of articles that we must know how to handle with these articles in order to prevent infection and transmission of disease. It has particularities, roles, understandings, and conducts that we must know, understand, and follow in the right way to prevent transmission of disease inside the hospital. Number two, the difference between infection and hospital infection. Some microorganisms has a period of incubation, that is the time between the first contact and the first symptoms. It varies between one disease and another. Knowing the period of incubation, we can understand if the infection was acquired inside the hospital or outside the hospital. Point number three, non-critical areas. These are areas that are non-occupied by patients. For example, engineering workshops, warehouse, or administrative areas. There is no reason to have patients inside these areas. Semi-critical areas. These areas are occupied by patients with infectious disease, but the disease is not transmissible. For example, meningitis. We have bacterial and meningococcal meningitis. If a patient starts receiving the correct treatment, after some hours or some days, the disease will not be transmitted anymore. And another example is whooping cough, for example, is a type of disease that are not transmissible after the treatment starts. Let's go to the number 5, critical areas. This case is interesting. You have two types of classification from my point of view. First one, areas occupied by patients with transmissible disease. For example, COVID-19 was an example that still are in our daily activities inside hospitals. And another example is tuberculosis, that is a disease transmissible by air. But you can think the critical areas from the point of view of the patient. For example, burned patients and immunocompromised patients is different because a health worker can transmit disease to this patient. So critical areas can be interpreted by these two types, when an area that can harm me and an area that I can harm the patient, okay? So this is critical areas. Well, we have to understand now a little bit about articles. The correct name is fomites are articles that can retain, absorb, and transport infectious agents from one area to the other area. So, for example, non-critical articles are those articles that enters in contact with integral skin of a patient. We have to understand that the skin is defending ourselves for thousands of years, and it has a lot of strategies to defend our human body from external agents. So, continuing, let's see here, number 7 here. Number 7, semi-critical articles. Semi-critical articles are those articles that enter in contact with integral mucosal. Mucosal is takes part of skin, but it has mechanical properties less strong than external skin, okay? So example of these articles, tongue depressors, vaginal speculum, and fibroscope or endoscopes can be classified as semi-critical article. And we have also the critical articles. The critical articles are those articles that enters in contact under subepithelial tissues. For example, needles, suture needles, and scalpel, for example, are critical articles. Now that we understand the area classification and articles classification, we can go to process in order to diminish the number of viable microorganisms in an area or in an article. The first one is cleaning. Cleaning is the first step on sanitizing an article or area. It can involve washing with soap and water. It can involve vacuuming or mopping the floor, for example, are activities of cleaning. Then we have disinfection. And in this point, it's important to understand that some microorganisms can live as spore form, we say, sporulated form. It is more difficult to inactivate microorganisms in sporal form than in vegetative form. So the disinfection, the objective is to inactivate the microorganisms in vegetative form, also using physical process or chemical process. Then we have number 11, that is sterilization. The focus of sterilization is to inactivate microorganisms in sporous form of life. It's more difficult to inactivate it, but we can do this. Well, that's it. I would like to tell you. If you like it, please share, subscribe to the channel, look for our other videos, because all of these help to shine a light in our profession, became clinical engineering and biomedical engineering, more known by health authorities, directors of hospitals, and it can be help not only the patient, but health workers and ourselves during our daily activities inside the hospital. So that's it I would like to know, and thank you very much for your time.